I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses. And the voice I hear falling on my ears, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me and he talks with me and he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Hey everybody, Lady Cheryl here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to show you how we're going to weatherize or prepare for really hot conditions by adding extra mulch and extra shade cloths. Okay, let's get started. Okay guys, it is early Sunday morning. Yesterday was a brutal 104 degrees. It's going to be around the same temperature today. I'm going to remove the shade cloths that you can see here. It's 50% shade. And then of course I'm going to water. I see a lot of blooms have dried up on these tomato plants here, and then I have a larger bed with my main tomato crop in, and it's not looking really bad, but it's not looking good either. There was a lot of yellow blooms there yesterday, and most of them have dried up. So at this point, all I'm trying to do is just harvest what I can, what's already developing. I'm gonna take these shade cloths off. Mosquitoes are bad out here. I gotta spray my repellent, and I'll be back. Several mosquito repellents. This one is mouthwash and peppermint oil and rosemary oil, and this one is hydrogen peroxide and eucalyptus oil, and you can see a little oil at the surface, and you just shake it up and spray it. Whenever my grandbabies come over to help me in the food forest, I make sure that I thoroughly mix them with a repellent, and so they don't get bit by mosquitoes while they're here. Here I remove the 50% shade cloth from this okra bed, and I have turmeric. These are heat-loving crops. However, 105 with a 112 heat index, something bit that there, is a little bit high. However, okra can deal with it, but I don't want it to burn to a crisp. This is the okra seeds that are dwarf, and that's why I put them in this elevated raised bed. These were a gift, and I love butter crunch lettuce, so I've got to shade it because it is not a heat-loving crop. But I want to share this with you. You can look and see that the soil is still moist on the top inch of the garden bed, and that's because, guys, shade cloths work. They will lower the temperature about 10 degrees, depending on which type you get. Now, I removed the shade cloth from this second bed, partially. But you can see I have butternut squash extending over into it. And by the way, this is the bed that has the lavender, marigolds, basil, 2 types. And I never see insects in here. However, this bed, you can see, is a little bit drier. Okay? So, you know what I'm gonna do next is water. Now, let's look at this big drape I have over here, over the butternut squash. Butternut squash is not a summer crop. It's something that I'm experimenting with to see if I can keep it shaded and keep it close to the house on the patio will I be able to harvest some butternut squash. Pretty dry here, but we're still holding on. You can see evidence of heat damage, but we're still holding on to some squash. So I'm just gonna remove this a little bit more. I don't want to take it all the way down because I'm gonna have to put it back up in a couple hours. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna start my watering these 3 beds. And I see where my blackberries couldn't handle the sun. They're drying up. It's okay. It's all right. Maybe next year, because this plant is only a year old. I got it on sale. It'll be a year in the fall on clearance at Lowe's. Right here where there's a little bit more shade at the bottom of the plant, you see that they're opening up and ripening, and then I have new growth. However, I'm going to move it. I'm gonna try to slide it right over there where that other container that looks like this one, because I'm gonna open up the umbrella today and offer some shade to that tomato plant over there, or those tomato plants. And right in here, you can see that my sunflowers are suffering. This one is leaning all the way over. And I mean, I watered them real good, but they're in full sun, so it's to be expected. If you look right here, I see a squash bug right there. I'm gonna have to put the phone down in order to kill it. So there is the bug. It's still alive, but I squished it, so it's, you know, hurting. So just because I sprayed a little neem oil, dish soap, and water on these plants, it doesn't mean that the squash bugs won't come back to them, because I'm still killing some every day on these trap crops. Next year, I'm going to plant more sunflowers in different areas of the food forest so I can keep them off of my squash plants. See, let me show you something. Look at the difference in the distance between that butternut squash right there on the left side of your screen next to the black shade cloth. It's not that far from these sunflowers. So if I can trap them over here, I can keep them away from my main crop. Okay, so I need to dispose of this. You can clearly see that these tomatoes suffered yesterday. I didn't shade them for the simple reason the elderberries are shading them, the magnolia tree is shading them. I don't think it would have made too much difference if I put a shade cloth on them. It's not going to be a good year for tomatoes because the heat came too quick and stunted the growth of the tomatoes. Now I'm going to show you that tomato jungle right over there in a minute, but I'm going to share this with you. I did not shade these beds, these grow boxes right here. I started seeds in them last week, and the seeds are rainbow, and you can see the different colors on the stems: rainbow, Swiss chard, and marigolds in all 3 of these boxes. I didn't shade them, and the soil is still just slightly moist, so I'm going to shade them today. I don't want to take a chance of them drying out. Okay, so that's Swiss chard, that's marigold, that yellow stem is Swiss chard, and I'll be able to put these marigolds anywhere I want to. So I'm going to go get some black 50% shade and clip them to these hoops here. Even though that tree right there, that Sisera magnolia, is giving it a lot of shade. And, you know, the elderberries on the other side. I still think it'll be in my best interest to shade these so they can get a good start because they're so young. The tomato plants are holding on to some of the blooms more than I thought. They won't bloom in 100 plus degree weather, but they can continue to grow if the conditions are favorable. So I'm not going to shade these. I didn't shade them yesterday. I don't see too much damage, a little yellowing, you know, but it's not bad, guys. And because I downsized, nice blooms still over here. Yeah, more blooms than I thought. So I'm gonna just go ahead and water them real good. I'm gonna clip this up. I'll go in the house and get a clip. And you can see down here, let me get the spot down here. Big cluster of tomatoes over there that are ripe. And we have some over there. You can see a little color coming through. And over there. So these are just gonna get watered real good and clipped up. Nice sized tomato. Nothing compared to what I usually have this time of year. But every year won't be your best. Now I want you to see this mulch. This mulch has disintegrated. It was covered with leaves. So I'm going to take some straw that I ordered and got in, and I'm going to add more mulch here. So shade from there, those trees over here, the mimosa tree, the susurp, magnolia tree, all of that is shading the tomatoes. So I'm not going to cover them with shade. My harvest for today. It's a small harvest on small tomatoes, but I'm still grateful. Here, you can see it's dry as a bone. These are my pepper plants. I need to go ahead and make a harvest this morning. Peppers over here. Peppers all through here. Isn't that a big pretty one? I'll go ahead and harvest these before it gets too hot. And you can see zinnias behind there. And all of this is really dry. So I got to water even more than I did yesterday. Now check this one out. You see the rich dark color? You can see that this is not that as dry as here. I'll show you again. This is still moist. See that? And this is like powder. That's because that plum tree is shading this pepper plant container, as well as the mimosa tree. It has extended all the way over to the second grow box. So as your trees, your fruit trees grow and offer a canopy of shade, you will use less and less shade cloth. Now I may just drop a little bit right over the top of these tomato cages. I think I will, because this is like powder. It's really dry. My finger all the way down there is bone dry. So I'll drop a little shade cloth over here. Okay, let's look over here. I started pulling the bricks up, Brian and Bria. This is doing really well. We've got shade from these garden boxes. That tree, magnolia tree, is blooming again. And there's another bloom way at the top. It blooms about 3 or 4 times a year, depending on the temperature. And so this pear tree is doing real good. Excuse me, the zinnias are doing good. You have that mimosa tree offering shade. That pear tree there. I know I keep repeating myself about the fruit trees. It's very important because they improve the quality of air in your environment, as well as offer shade to protect some plants. But one thing you got to be careful, because I'm not coming out here twice, 3, 4 times a day because it's just too hot. You got to really check for insect damage when you're watering. Okay, look at those purple coneflowers. Are they not beautiful? And I just saw something right here. A Japanese beetle, a baby one. Yes, I can kill them with my bare hands. Yep. That's what put these little holes in your plants. This is heat damage. but it's okay. When you see them, kill them. This one got broke somehow, snapped off from the wind. And more echinacea, purple cone flowers. I love when my plants come back year after year absolutely free. Okay. This is just the sun coming up through the trees over there that's making this look yellow. I assure you that it's not. It's a beautiful green, but it looks yellow because of the sun. So this tree is shading everything over here. The Mexican petunias are now blooming plentifully. I love it. Got comfrey down there, comfrey here, living mulch, Mexican petunias, and comfrey over there. The okra is doing well in these 3 containers, and we have 1, 2, 3 containers of Black Beauty eggplant. Isn't that a pretty? We have a lot of eggplant in here, so I gotta water these real well. Here's another one right in here. Okay. Over here, we have apple tree and container being shaded by the muscadines and pear tree. Got a little okra situation here I need to harvest because I'm not coming back out later. So let's see what we can harvest now. I'm getting 2 and 3, 4 pods a day. Letting that one go to seed. It's a little small, but I'm gonna take it because it's gonna be so big tomorrow. Here's another one. That one's kind of hard to take. I'm gonna leave that one there. It's kind of hard. You can hear it's crunchy. And let's see what we got over here. Those are too small. Here's a nice size one. Okay. Pretty soon I'll be getting there. That's another Black Beauty. Let me go closer. Where is it? Okay. Right there. Another eggplant. I'm sure there's some on the other side as well. Look at the sea of comfrey, guys. I'm sorry it took you so fast. A sea of comfrey. I'll have more for sale next year. 2 pawpaws are being taken down by grapevines, Brian and Bria, and I will clear this up tomorrow. I'll take my walking cane and make sure there's no snakes or anything. And I haven't seen any snakes in this area other than garter snakes that eat insects. That comfrey is filling out over here in the asparagus bed. That pecan tree is offering a lot of shade. That was a volunteer that I found in a lemon tree about 4 years ago. And I'm gonna have to walk over through this comfrey, through the trees, and be real careful because I'm noticing something. The white Texas star hibiscus is leaning. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring a stake back to prop this up against the fence, and I'll share it with you when I do. I'm gonna come in here and with my weed whacker, and I'm gonna mow all this down the first day that it gets pretty warm, cool, like 90 degrees or so, 95, whatever. And then I'm gonna come in there and make a whole lot of more comfrey tea. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll let that go to seed. Oh, it came off. I'll eat it. I'll eat it because it helps keep your glycemic index down. I just saw a flying insect and I don't like it. It's one of those cabbage moths. I'm gonna see if I can get it. Okay. It won't let me get it. Living mulch around the apple tree in the ground and pear tree. Okay, it's time for me to start watering. Here's my strawberry bed. It looked like it was struggling a little bit from yesterday's heat index of 112. So I went ahead and put some shade cloth over it, as you can see here. And I'm just clipping it on with these tiny little clips I get from Home Depot. So let me step back and show you. This bed is completely covered, 3 grow boxes. Even though it's getting some shade, the colors on the leaves are changing a little bit. I don't know if it can handle a few more days like that. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's 100 degrees. It's getting ready to get hotter. I decided to put a little shade on this stand that has 3 grow boxes of peppers and roselle. Because I have it, I might as well use it. And I just clipped it onto anything I could clip it onto. As you can see here, a T-post here. And here I am up under the shade. So this is going to help this bed tremendously. Okay. So I showed you the strawberries. I showed you this one. Oh, over here, I put some shade cloth on the tomato plant. It's basically in that wheelbarrow there and that first grow box right here that has some little bitty baby seedlings. And here are my pigeon peas. And I'm going to transplant these in a few days. Do you see those webs right there? And here, when you see that on your trees, whether it's an ornamental tree like this magnolia tree that's budding and getting ready to make more flowers, just hose it off. Don't take any chances because you're not really sure what type of insect that is. Okay? So I'm just going to hose it off real good. Because when they start wrapping a web around your entire leaf, that's not good. And we've had web worms in Texas. I don't think that's what this was, but you never know. So just go ahead and wash the tree down with water. Okay? That's all I'm doing. I'm just washing it down. I'm going to go on the other side so I can get the leaves that are facing the sun. Because I love these beautiful blooms. And they're going to open up even more. See how pretty that is? And hummingbirds like them. So I'm coming around on this side. And make sure that I get all of those leaves the best I can. This is a beautiful tree when it's in full bloom. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and make sure you turn on the notifications so that you can be the first to see my videos. Thank you all so much. You know that I love you, and God loves you too. Bye now. Bria and I are getting this order ready so that we can ship it. And we always take pride in our orders. Right, Bria?
Yes.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.